Well, look at the stock price of Wells Fargo. It's actually up today, 80 cents higher at 52. The Consumer Financial Protection Board announcing $1 billion fine against Wells Fargo. Mick Mulvaney is with us, interim director of the CFPB. Sir, President Trump said in a tweet a little time ago, we're going to loosen the bank rules, but if you break the bank rules, we'll take you to the cleaners. Is that what's happening with Wells Fargo now with $1 billion fine?
Yeah, Stuart, in all candor, I'm not familiar with that tweet, especially if it just came out recently. But the sentiment is accurate. The statute that formed the Bureau of Consumer Financial Protection does a couple things. It tells us to both look at ways to reduce unduly burdensome regulations and at the same time protect consumers. So what the president tweeted out, if that's accurate, I don't have any reason to think that it isn't, is exactly what the statute tells us to do. And that's what we did here today. We protected consumers. We enforced the law. We thought that Wells had misbehaved and broken the law, quite frankly, and that was what gave rise to this action.
$1 billion is not that much money for Wells Fargo, giant company, and the stock now they know the number, the stock is actually up.
$1 billion is still a lot of money for everybody. Keep in mind, you mentioned before that it was $1 billion fine to the Bureau. This is actually was a joint effort, which is also, I think, historic. Between the Bureau and the Office of the Control of the Currency. We worked together on this in a way that I don't think had been done under previous administrations. I think that bodes well for the future, both for the industry and for consumers. But to get down to the actual dollar amount, could we have recovered less by taking this matter to trial? Possibly. Could we have recovered more? Possibly. That's the nature of a settlement. So, no, I don't think the folks at Wells think $1 billion is a small amount of money. I don't think anybody should think that $1 billion is a small amount of money. So this is a historically large collection, and we're very satisfied with the outcome.
You still want to get rid of the CFPB?
Absolutely. Well, again, I work there. It's not my place to say whether or not it's constitutional, should be removed. What I'm saying is that the place needs to be fixed, that my power is, as the individual, as the acting director, or as whoever the permanent director turns out to be, is way too unaccountable, too uncontrolled, and too non-transparent. I have too much authority as an individual. I don't answer to anyone. If Wells is upset with what happened today, they have no one to complain to, not their member of Congress, not their senator, not the President of the United States. If consumers feel like they didn't somehow get protected today, they can't complain to anybody. It all comes to this particular office that I currently hold, and that's not right. There should be some accountability. That opinion that I have of the Bureau has not changed in any way as a result of today's actions.
Mick, I do want to say that the tweet that I was referring to from President Trump was actually delivered in December of last year. Okay. So you're looking about 4 months ago, but the sentiment is repeated today. I want to draw your attention to what Nancy Pelosi, she's again blasting the tax cuts. For the benefit of our viewers, roll tape.
In terms of the bonus that corporate America received versus the crumbs that they are giving to workers to kind of put the schmooze on is so pathetic. It's so pathetic.
Let me bring in the president's response. He tweeted very quickly. He said this: Nancy Pelosi is going absolutely crazy about the big tax cuts given to the American people by the Republicans. Got not one Democrat vote. Here's a choice. They want to end them and raise your taxes substantially. Republicans are working on making them permanent and more cuts. Mick, it would seem to me that to some degree Nancy Pelosi's tactic of demagoguing against tax cuts is working. The polls suggest that this is a viable political strategy for November.
Keep in mind what she's talking about there. I think she made that reference originally to the $1,000 bonuses that went out. I think over 5 million workers have received either bonuses or increases as a direct result of this. And in addition, I think the math laid out that the ordinary average American family of four making 75 grand would save about $2,000 off taxes alone. I guess that's what she refers to when she calls those crumbs. And I simply ask you, I tried to ask her this, Mrs. Pelosi's never answered this question, would she think that was crumbs if it came in the form of a government handout, which is what the Democrats are always proposing. Instead of getting your money from your employer or from your own hard work, they want you to get it from the government. And if she had been able to give 5 million people a check for $1,000, would she think that was crumbs? And, of course, the answer is no. So that's what really this is about. It's not about the amount of money. It's about where the money is coming from. Republicans want you to keep your own. Democrats want you to beg for it from them, and that is a fundamental difference between the parties.
Mick, before you go, apart from making individual tax cuts permanent, is there any other change coming down to the tax code this year?
We're working on a bunch of different things. That's obviously the primary one. When we went through the first time, a couple of the provisions were made temporary for a variety of reasons, most of which had to do with that inane scoring and reconciliation rules in the Senate. Keep in mind, we structured the bill the way that we needed to because we knew we had zero Democrat support in the Senate and ultimately received zero Democrat support in the Senate. And so in order to get that 50-vote margin, we had to do certain things to structure the bill. It was not ideal. We would have liked to make the lower rates permanent. We would have liked to make the depreciation schedules, the accelerated depreciation, longer. So there's a bunch of different ways we can improve the bill. I think the good news is that even with the part that we were able to get passed, which wasn't perfect, it's proving that it's working. The economy is growing and people have more of their own money in their pocket. That was the goal. So if we can get a second bite at the apple, we would welcome that opportunity.
Mick Mulvaney, you're a very busy guy, and we want to thank you very much for taking time out to be with us this morning. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Stuart.